Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a nice day and thank you for tuning in. So for today's video, I decided I would just simply talk about this piece and explain what inspired me and also explain some mistakes I did. So this painting is actually the very first oil painting that I created and that came from my mind, which is why I'm taking the time today to talk about it because I am super proud of this accomplishment. Up till recently, I've been in my practice phase or studying phase of my oil painting art journey, and for some reason I just didn't have the confidence to start creating my own artworks. But now that I just finished my very first own oil painting, I feel like I just overcame a big obstacle. But by no means am I trying to say that, oh, I figured everything out and I know everything. Like, I'm aware that I still have a lot to learn, but I'm still very proud of myself. So this painting has actually been my baby, my project since December, and I wanted to post this time lapse a long time ago, but I was actually really focused on school, which is also why I didn't post many videos in the past year, but I'm planning on posting videos more frequently from now on. So now I'll hop on to explaining what inspired me for this piece. So last summer I went to Hawaii for the very first time, and that was actually my dream destination. So I was super happy and excited to go, and I took many pictures, and because I love the scenery so much, I got super inspired. And one day I went for this hike through a tropical forest to get to a beautiful waterfall, and I might not be saying its name right, but I believe it was called the Akaka Falls. And I remember being blown away by how tall it was, and it was so bright and green and alive, and I loved it. And also I thought I should do something with it. So I used its shape for this piece, and I recreated the colors that you can see in person at the waterfall for my painting, but I didn't necessarily respect how it looks realistically, because once again I was going for the not super realistic look. I was going for the idea of a waterfall. And then during that vacation I went to this place. I don't really remember where it was, but I remember that there was these paintings of these gods and goddesses, and behind each and every one of them there was a story related to Hawaii and its creation and things like that. So that really inspired me to put that princess or goddess that you see on the top of the waterfall and make it so that she kind of looks like a Hawaiian Mother Nature, since she's pouring water out of her hands and onto the cliff to create the waterfall, and because water makes nature and life, she's like a Mother Nature goddess. Now onto the final part of this voiceover, which is some mistakes that I did throughout this piece, and I will explain them in hopes of you guys avoiding making them. So my first mistake is that at the beginning I made an entire layer of blue acrylic paint. Now that's fine, but I don't remember why I did a full layer of just blue instead of using different acrylic colors to lay down my colors as a base coat. So make sure that you know what you're doing so you don't end up wasting paint. Next mistake is when I did put down my base colors, I only put down the white of the sky and the green and blue of the waterfall, but I forgot to put the beige color for my goddess. And for the colors that I did put, I used way too much paint. I used such a large amount of paint that when it dried, you could see my brushstrokes very clearly, and it made super weird bumps. And that was frustrating to work with because it was difficult to apply paint on top when there was so many creases to paint over. And no matter how much paint I would put over it, the lines and weird bumps would still be there. So make sure that you don't use too much paint, because also it just becomes a waste of paint. And lastly, the last big mistake I did was I thought that to paint the skin of the goddess, I would only need 3 colors, white, beige, and brown. But because I had only 3 very different colors, blending was a little bit hard. And the skin definitely didn't look super realistic and smooth. It looked very patchy. So later on, I realized I would need many different colors for the shadows, the skin, and the highlights that were similar. And also I learned that I needed to incorporate some reds and sometimes even some grays into the skin to make it look nicer and more realistic. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it helped you in any way, and I also hope that you feel the confidence to start creating your own paintings, because you'll see once you start creating your own pieces, it's super fun and liberating. Also, if there's anything that you would like me to explain or questions you would like answered, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And also make sure to check out my Instagram account to see some works in progress of some pieces that are to come. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye!